Queen in Washington. Whenever a member of the royal family comes to the United States, we get a taste of the low-intensity debate which goes on all the time in Britain about the real value of the monarchy and whether it will survive in Britain as it did not in revolutionary America. We also get the impression every time the Queen visits that modern Americans find her irresistible. In Washington today, ABC's John Martin.
It was, you might say, the low point of her visit. The Queen was too low to see over the microphones. So instead of a talking head, she was a talking hat. Today, the president said he felt badly he hadn't helped her step onto a small footstool.
And I didn't realize that how it would look from a straight angle, or I would have interrupted her.
Interrupting the Queen is not something every American is brave enough to do. At a Library of Congress lunch today, with the American kind of royalty, from Hollywood and Broadway, many guests were very much aware of what was proper.
The best way to enjoy her, you know, is to do it properly.
And as you know, she must put her hand out first for you to shake her hand. And she did it for everyone.
Some Americans have forgotten about a certain war, says social commentator Judith Martin.
Not everybody has gotten that word that we won the Revolutionary War, and there are people who still want to demonstrate that they are servants of the crown. And actually, we won the war, so we're not.
Still, as she made the rounds today, the Queen met many who were not servants of the crown, but friends for the moment. At the newly built home of Alice Fraser, where the Queen visited today, she got a hug as much as she would allow herself. Many who saw her were excited.
It's sort of a fantasy of mine to have seen the Queen.
Another woman looked at it this way.
She's fascinating, but I saw him out.
But perhaps only a Texas congressman could look at a Queen quite this way.
Well, she's just like any other lady. She's worth $11 billion.
She is the world's richest woman, but as she met the high and the mighty and the not so high today, she was just a person, a little shy, who made ordinary people feel a little better about themselves. They had met royalty, and it was all right. John Martin, ABC News, Washington.
And that is our report on World News Tonight. I'm Peter Jennings. We'll see you tomorrow. Good night. Finally, this evening, day 3 of the Queen's visit to the United States. The British newspapers like to pay a lot of attention to us, paying attention to her. Today, one of them said there are only 2 questions occupying Americans interested in the royal visit: how to be polite in the presence of royalty, and the mystery of that missing footstool, the one which made the Queen appear even tinier than she is when she arrived at the White House on Tuesday. You could hardly see her, you may remember, above the microphones. Well, today it was the Queen and the Congress. Here's ABC's Cokie Roberts.
Queen Elizabeth came to this symbol of representative government today and was greeted as though her forefathers had never lost the American colonies. Crowds jammed the Capitol Plaza to watch the Queen ascend the steps to the great rotunda doors, give a royal wave, and move inside for an historic moment, the first address of a British monarch to the U.S. Congress. Starting with a common touch, the Queen joked about the faux pas earlier this week when all but her hat was hidden by the White House lectern.
I do hope you can see me today from where you are.
If they couldn't, they had only their hats to blame. The attire in the House chamber underlined the differences between Great Britain and the United States, but it was the theme of unity in the fight against Iraq that brought applause.
I know that the servicemen and women of Britain and of all the members of the coalition were proud to act in a just cause alongside their American comrades.
It was not always so, the Queen was reminded at lunch in the old House chamber, where in 1814 an invading British army took a vote to burn the Capitol.
Assisted by a high wind and the absence of any resistance, I regret to say, the burning was somewhat effective.
Next, Queen Elizabeth visited the home of General George Washington, paying tribute to the man whose army defeated her ancestor, George III. Such graciousness by the Queen might be one reason why so many Americans turn mushy when she visits, even here. Cokie Roberts, ABC News, Capitol Hill.
That's our report on World News Tonight. I'm Peter Jennings. Tomorrow, our Person of the Week. Good night.